Kyle and I realized it's about anybody can put themselves in this song, Kyle. And like I said, I thought it was about him and I, but it's about everybody that loves Kyle, knew Kyle. I have lots of stuff to say. I'll keep it simple. I met Kyle. My brother and his brother played basketball together, and Kyle and I would sit on the benches together and the bleachers rather, with our families, and we would just casually talk. We didn't really know each other that well at that point. And then the years went on, and Hayne and Rowan came over to Evans City, and I remember Kyle came over, and I don't know why, but I was just so excited. I thought he was a celebrity or something. I'm like, Kyle Darville. And all the girls loved him, and all the guys were giving him high fives, and he was just a cool guy. And him and Tony Mustovich would come down the hallway together, and they'd be wearing their American Eagle clothes and their sweaters, and they thought they were so cool. And I made two great friends that year with Tony and Kyle, and we shared a lot of good times together. And Matthias and Dan Buckwater, and I have so many names to mention. There's so many people that were close to Kyle, that loved Kyle, that knew Kyle, and wanted to spend time with Kyle. These last few days of reflection for me obviously I've cried like the rest of you have, and sometimes uncontrollably, but I'm more than anything, like what Kristen said, I'm just so thankful that I got all this time with Kyle, and God did something right when He made Kyle, and he has a lot of integrity to him. He never said a bad thing about anyone. He loved people being together. He always wanted to call everybody, let's call them all, man, let's get them all together. That's all he wanted to do. He just wanted to be with everybody all the time, and I'm quite opposite of Kyle. I like my privacy, but we had a lot of great times together. We took a lot of hikes together. We did a lot of camping together. A lot of great talks by the fireside. All night. He was an excellent listener. He never judged you. He would listen for hours. I would talk over him because that's just the way I am. But he would listen. And his eyes and his ears were so crisp to what I had to say. And even no matter how dumb it sounded, he would always follow it up with like, that's interesting. But he never made me feel small. He always tried to raise me up. He always told me, they loved me. And I didn't have a name for this song. He heard part of it. He helped me record some of it years ago. And so I decided I would put some stuff around it from recently, and hug the part of the song that he knew. I didn't have a name for it, but I was talking to Jeff yesterday, and I guess the people over at Anthony's Pizza called him Golden Boy, and he would love that. And if anybody knew Kyle in the last couple of years of his life, he was just so full of life. He was fearless. He didn't like being dull. He didn't like the idea of just accepting the circumstances. If he was getting bored, he moved to Florida. If he was getting bored, he would move to Connecticut, or he would move to Colorado, or he moved to California. He just never gave up on himself. He never gave up on himself. He never complained about his situation. He never put his problems on me. Even with the hospital stuff, he never forced any of his problems on me. And with all the years that we talked, that he was still mysterious to me. He still had tons of secrets, and that's just the way he was. He let things digest before he blurted them out, and I could speak for hours, guys, but I love him, and I'm going to miss him so much. this life, and words can't explain.
A place and time that was yours and that was mine. It made me smile. And all the while we saw one another's hearts would go. 'Cause you are my friend, going high. I'll count to 10 and I will come find you. We changed. Not to say that I won't always step beside you, 'cause it was you and I would go down to the river, and you would bring your cup. She would say, I love you, brother, and finally at the sun, we would light a fire down by the river. Think I would say, you ain't never gonna be as young as you is right now. Think I would say, you ain't never gonna be as young as you is right now. We had a place and time